Darlings, it's Mummy, Sybil Brunchen, and it's a beautiful Friday. It's Good Friday, and it is a Good Friday. Whether you're a Christian or not, it's a lovely Friday. It's a very good Friday. Mummy is out on her back deck, and she's doing all sorts of chores, and she's trying to clean it up. I've washed the bird feeder, which is right there, and then I'm going to change the suet cake in the cage, and I'm just cleaning up the deck, and I'm replanting things. Darlings, you all ask me, I'm sorry I'm jumping around so much with the camera. I'm sure I'm making the motion sickness people in the crowd just absolutely sick to their tummies. Many of you ask me for little gardening hints, so here's one at the beginning of the spring. When you are planting pots, or even in your garden, forget pots. This is my back deck, so I have pots, but my front garden, as you know, my driveway gardens are all I have right now. This land is all maintained by the homeowners association, so they mow the lawns, which is what that nice man is doing there, and they kill the trees like this with their mulches. You see the mulches in the distance. This tree has become completely girdled. The roots are completely girdled, and this poor tree began suffering last year. I told everyone about it. No one paid any attention to me because they said, oh, she's just a silly old woman and she doesn't know anything. And of course, here's the tree a year later, even more challenged and stressed than it was last year. I don't think it's going to bud at all. I don't see even the little pinwheels coming out. So last year it went to seed before it went to leaves. So when plants, interesting thing about plants, many different species will go to reproduction as they die. So they will throw off babies, they will throw off seeds, they will throw off whirligigs, they'll throw off all sorts of things as they die. It's almost as if Mother Nature says, well, this tree is dying, but its children will live on after it, okay? So it's an interesting thing to do. It would be like a human being with terminal cancer becoming hyper fertile and having a baby, and a baby that gestated only 3 months, and then the fully grown baby came out, and then the mother died. That's what's going on with this poor maple tree. Our neighbors lost a maple tree there a few years ago to the same thing. There's the stump that's left. Our tree is now struggling and is gone, and this tree is the next in line, and you can see it's not nearly as leafed out as it might be, and then the trees next to it also are having a problem. Oh, that tree on the end is definitely having a problem. The homeowners association knows better than Mummy, so, and their landscapers know better than arborists. So there you go. So someone who's a specialist in tree culture is not consulted. A bunch of landscapers who plant things inappropriately and then don't take care of them properly are the experts, and there you go. All I have to do is point to those mounds of black tar mulch. The reason I call them black tar is because if you pick them up and smell them, they smell like an oil spill. And if you rub the stuff between your hands, there's nothing organic about it. It's like rubbing creosote all over your hands. You have to get your hands back to the sink and wash them with, Dawn detergent to get the stuff off them. They also put weed suppressant in it, which of course, I love how they say it's weed killer. It's everything killer. That stuff doesn't discriminate between tulips and daffodils and dandelions or anything else. It just suppresses weeds. And when I was young, my grandmother and her generation and my parents' generation believed that grass or flowers grew beneath trees. You didn't have these weird black mini volcanoes. And we could go into even more detail, but we're not going to. We're going to stay on my deck. One hint I'm going to give you here is this. I'm going to try not to. It's hard to do things with my hands and have my camera going. When you're planting in your garden or in a pot, you dig out the soil, and you can throw the soil in the flower bed next to it, or you can put it in the pot, as I did here. You can see I hollowed out a hole, and then I put it in the pot next to it because I need to add to that soil anyway. It's dropped a little too low for when I put the plants in I want. Now, this happens to be a perennial, and it's an aster, and I love this flower. And I have them on Fire Island as well, Cherry Grove. Here's a little chrysanthemum that's working its way up, but this had nothing but annuals in it. This was a geranium with a couple of other things, and there were some calabracua in this pot last year with the aster. So I'm going to put calabracua back in it because I love the way they climb all over the place, and they're lovely and cheerful, and just if you keep deadheading them, they just become like bushes. So the thing that I'm going to give you a hint on is this. Before you take the plant out of the pot and drop it in there and see if it's the right depth and the right this and the right that. No, let the pot do the planning for you. Dig out the hole, see if you guesstimate its depth, and then take the plastic pot and drop it in there and push it down in and see if the soil of the new plant going in is at the same level as the soil around it. So instead of guessing and pulling it out and putting it in and screwing up the root ball, let the plastic pot do all the work. And take the plastic pot and push it down. Push it down, scooch it into the soil. By the way, moisten the soil heavily. Let the wet soil really help you out. When you're done pushing this down and you've guesstimated that it's where it should be, okay, watch this. So the soil level is about where it should be, right? There's the soil and there's the soil. There's the soil, okay, there's the soil. Then lift all of the foliage out. By the way, foliage, F-O-L-I-A-G-E, not foliage. It's not foliage, boys and girls, it's foliage. Okay, so you've pushed it down, you've guesstimated it properly, it looks good, it's not going down any farther. You lift this out, you look, oh yes, look at that. Hard soil at the bottom and the sides, perfect. Then you lift the plant out, which I can't do with the camera in my hand. You lift the plant out carefully, you drop the soil ball in there. If you want to do one more little scoosh like that much, then you put the soil ball down in there, you fill it in all around it carefully with healthy soil, and then you water it. Now, I happen to be going to do one Calabrachoa there and another plant here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a Calabrachoa there as well. I might, and that way the aster will be growing up high and these will be Calabrachoas, or this could be a Calabrachoa and something else. But I'm going to drop a Calabrachoa in there right now, and that will be that. Okay, there's my hint. Darlings, I'll be back with you shortly with another Tour-ette, but in this wonderful time that we're here, let's remember to always be in the world and of the world, to remember to be mindful, present, mindful, and grateful. I am so present to what I'm doing right now. With your help, actually, doing a Tour-ette with you while I'm gardening is making me so happy. It's giving me so much joy. Be present, be mindful. I'm mindful of the fact that this day, this moment, is this moment. This is not endless. This is this moment with you. And then to be grateful, to say thank you to whoever I feel that I need to say thank you to for this. Even if it's just a cold, impersonal universe, I still say thank you. And to remember always that everything we see and smell and touch and taste and hear and hold in our hand and our heart, everything is borrowed. These little Calabrachoas are borrowed. My wonderful little shovel is borrowed. This moment is borrowed. This watering can full of water is borrowed. Everything is borrowed. The immense quietness of this moment, with just the sound of a lawnmower in the distance, is borrowed. Talk to you later, darlings.